And welcome back. We're picking up where we left off last time in Songs of Six. We're gonna unpause, let some time pass here. So while I was over on the break, one of the things, we do need to get more of is we probably need to get more food production. We're getting around about the right amount of food production, I think, to maintain our food stockpiles. However, as we're building troops up, something did dawn on me. It's that we are going to probably want to be able to feed the troops when they are deployed, which means we're going to want to be producing rations. To produce rations, I'm going to have to produce... Well, there's a couple different ways to produce rations. Let's go ahead and bring up the ration building here so we can discuss that. So we have 7 different recipes to make rations. 6 different recipes to make rations. They're effectively made out of 5 different foodstuffs: bread, meat, fish, fruit, and vegetables. For fruit and vegetables, we'd have to make alcohol, which would be grain. I believe it's grain into alcohol. Or fruit. Grain, fruit, pottery, and charcoal to make alcohol. Oh, we specifically have to be making the fruit-based, the spirit-based one. So that'd be one way we could make some rations. Another one would be herbs. We can make some herbs. That's probably the easiest to do for us with our fish, right? So we can turn 3 fish and a little bit of herbs into 3 rations. Which if our goal is really just to store enough to keep the 20 days of food storage, probably is a good plan. Because we'd be moving from a food stuff that spoils 50% a year while stored to something that spoils 2.5% per year. So we can actually lower the food production overall by making rations if we are just trying to maintain storage. So that probably is an argument to getting some herb production going. Do we have any native herbs on this map that we can harvest, or do I need to import herbs to get the herb farm going? Veg, fruit, veg. That was our cotton. We did harvest that. We got mushrooms, fruit. I think that is herbs. Not mistaken. Forage, yeah. So we got a little bit of herb there, so we'll set that up for our harvest. Yeah, that's all the herbs we're getting. So we don't have a lot of native herb on the map, although we have some, which is probably enough to get a field going. And to be fair, this is not the right biome for herbs. So the herb farm here is going to be pretty unproductive. Although we don't necessarily need a lot of herbs. We also don't have herb domestication, which is a tech we'd have to research. It would cost us 10 innovation. That wouldn't be too expensive. So I think we'll go ahead and pick up herb domestication. We'll pick up that 10 innovation, spend that on herb domestication. We have a little bit of a river going, or a little bit of a road going through here. We'll do herbs up in this patch up here. After extending the culvert. Actually, I'll put the farm in first. Again, we're going to do like 7 by like 20. It's about 2 farmers. As you can see, the soil is really good. The moisture is really good. The production is still predicted to be real terrible. It takes 14 herbs to get started. We are going to get that going anyway. In the long run, we may want to swap over to something that is not fish for our herb production. For that reason, basically. In the canal. In the long run, we'll probably want the culvert. But for now, the canal is working fine. For where the road goes through. And then herbs are harvested in what season? late summer. So we'll have to wait until late summer, so this will be a pretty unproductive year as far as the herb harvest. And then we'll probably set up a ration maker so we can make some rations out of our fish. And again, I think we should expand our housing sector here so we get some more housing along here. How far along does the janitor go? Janitor basically covers the entire edge of the water here, so that's good. So yeah, we'll do an area copy. Like so. Copy to there. All that good. We'll put some torches in, because these guys are going to want torches for getting the visibility up. And yeah, see how many herbs we're getting in from the herb farm, and then probably tailor our ration making to support, well, to consume the herbs. Do have... oh, it's on the island here. So I probably want to use herb storage in this warehouse. I think we only need like one storage of herbs. I don't think the herbs... I think the herbs are going to stack a lot better than we're going to produce them. Yeah, we store 80 herbs in that one spot. And honestly, we could probably, if we need more storage in a given location, we can upgrade the warehouse instead of building more warehouses. Well, that built real fast. There we go. So we got housing for another 60 if we want another 60 in. I think we'll get the herb farm going first, so we can evaluate how effective that's going to be. So we're basically waiting for late summer. This band doesn't have the strength to attack us. Leave us alone. Leave us alone. Currently large, contemplating the next raid on us, although there's only 10 soldiers there. Ours is probably better than these guys. I think this is the guy who just threatened us last time. I've got 2 detachments, 5 and... oh, they got 6 soldiers. Yeah, one detachment. That guy actually looks reasonably well equipped. Mounted guy with armor, and a foot guy with hammers. Yeah, maybe in hindsight we should not attack them. Contemplating whether or not we'd go deal with some bandits with our troops, but let's say nay. Also, I think if we're going campaign, I think we need the rations for that. So let's get the rations sorted first. Oh, I should probably build the library. So let's go ahead and grab that with our knowledge. Or innovation, so we can get more knowledge, so we can get more of the law enforcement stuff going. A library. Thinking around here, trying to decide how big to make it. It's probably bigger than it needs to be, although that's probably fine. That's an interesting shape. We're would I rather it be smaller? Okay, then we need some carpets. Which is improving the efficiency, so see no reason not to plop lots of carpets. Okay, that's 100% efficiency. I think that will work for this building. Did I do 4 doors in here? Or is that going to be too much for the insulation? Nope, 4 doors looks like that'll work. Surprisingly cheap, based on how big the building looks. Yeah, we got enough fabric, we got enough furniture for that. We got housing for another 60. We'll go ahead and let another 20 in to start. Let's go up to 400. That'll give us a little bit more builders to get the construction going. They're getting too carried away. And we'll see. I imagine that a library needs paper to work, because that just feels like something a library needs. Although it doesn't cost any to build in this game, so we'll see if they... I suppose I could also be doing books on something else, right? Like vellum or just tablets of wood or whatever. So we'll see what they actually need to work the library. So there could also be like a library of things on the clay from the laboratory, which doesn't also need anything to start. That would work better. Okay, so this is a situation. Yeah, it needs actually leather to be better. So it doesn't use any paper. It does use leather. So if we want to make it work better, we can make it twice as effective by giving it leather. Although, we've got the people, we actually just put another 20 people in, which is fine. Let's, that gave us, I think, another 20 knowledge. Yeah, give or take. It'll trend up to 20. It might not have been 20 immediately. Or it may have already gone up to 20. It's hard to see. I think it's already gone up to 20. I think it was 6 and went up to 20. Okay. So we probably would want to put a little bit more in there, make it a little bit bigger so we can get justice. So we can get the court and the prisons. Don't need to rush to do that right away. Probably would rush to do the prisons sooner rather than later. Because our people do like prisons. But we now have knowledge production. We know what that takes to build. We've got what it needs to build. Might invite a few more people in and get a bit more innovation going. Okay, so to improve the herb farms, we need at least 200 farmers in herb farms. Plus we need basic farming, apparently. Oh, basic farming 10. Which is farm employees. Any farm employee to get the basic farming. Even though it doesn't care as much about industrial crops. Okay. Yeah, that one doesn't care about... okay. So we can use any farmers to actually boost our farmers. Okay. I probably must attempt to actually do basic fishing here to get more fish. Let's let another 20 people in. Get some more laboratory stuff going. We'll go up to 420. They come rolling in. And then the laboratory here was built to handle 40 people, so we can go up to full size on the laboratory. I'll get us a bunch more innovation, and then we are going to spend some of that innovation on actually grabbing improvements to the basic fishery. We're actually going to go ahead and spend all 20 of those points on the fishery. If we were to apply the next one, it would cost us 7 innovation points, and right now it's 7 people worth of work. It would score us 9 people worth of reward. So, probably still would be worth it, but we're going to benefit from our high level of fishing as is. So that should increase our fish production by quite a bit, without having to put more people on fishing. And again, we're waiting. We did just get the herbs in, so we're now beginning to herb farm. Okay, farmers haven't started farm, so we don't get an estimation of how much that field's going to output. Although we can probably get an idea. Soil, we got decent soil, 10% bonus from the soil. Moisture, we're getting apparently malice from the moisture. Do you like dry fields? That's a question. Maybe. It doesn't like the climate, so we're getting half yield from climate. We're getting reduction from species, so we're going to have to just accept that this is not going to be very productive in raw resource terms. On the other hand, this is really to conserve other resources, so it weirdly can be quite ineffective and still quite effective for us. So in theory, this is producing like 0.44 per worker per day average, whereas this one's producing almost 7 per day per average. So a lot less herbs. But that's also kind of fine. Making plenty of fabric. Currently not using it for anything. Well, a little bit for upkeep of the library over here. I suppose there's maybe an argument that we should transition. In fact, I buy that argument. Which is the one making clothing. You're making clothing. You. Take cloth in instead and make it out of cloth. So that won't change the amount of clothing we're making, but it will raise the demand on fabric, which is fine. That frees up that demand from leather. Well, there's no way we make enough leather for running the library off. The library is going to eat 20 leather, 2 per person. So we'd have to raise the leather production to swap that over. Oof. Per day estimation of herbs is equivalent to decay. So we get like 32 herbs per year is what that's saying, which probably true. Wouldn't be surprised if that field does not produce very many herbs. Now, of course, for the purposes of ration making, that doesn't necessarily need a lot of herbs, right? Okay, 2 workers in here is going to eat the herb production. Right, so there's maybe an argument here that I should expand the herb production more before we start really ration making. But that's actually pretty doable. So let's just build another. Oh, actually, copy that one. That'll save us a little bit of time. And plop. And the builders will descend on it and clear the field. Estimated harvest a year. 3. Might want a little bit more production than that. We're going to be making rations out of it. Although we don't necessarily need a lot of ration making right now. It would make food stockpiling a little bit more stable and sustainable. Okay, second farm's done. Estimated harvest is up to 3. Do we have what was last year's on here somewhere? No. Just so we can go look at the research bonus from the tax on fishing. So we added from technology another 0.63 to the multiplier. Oh no, it was to the additive. Okay, so that added with experience, and then we multiplied that by the 25% from species. So we're actually making about 3 fish per person per day, at least in that field. The fields vary depending upon their access to deep water. Although not by very much, apparently. They're all around about 2.93-ish. So if we wanted more fish, we can go ahead and continue it. Good catch. Reports from our fisheries indicate the catch is unusually good lately. Make sure we can store all the extra fish. So temporarily, we're getting triple yield from the fish. So for the next 8 days, fish yield will be tripled. Which, yeah, I agree, probably means that if we really want to take advantage of it, we would need more fishery storage. Honestly, we're not really going to take advantage of it, because we got no place to store it. You know what? Yeah, actually, I will go in and build up more storage in a couple different places. Logistics, warehouse. On this island out here, that's what we'll shove out here, is we'll shove a fishery warehouse. So if we can get this built fast enough, we'll turn this into fishery location. This will just be a storehouse of fish. So the local fishing site has a close drop-off spot. Okay, there's all the wood delivered, and then quickly build it up. We do have 16 jobbers for building, so this should be reasonably quick. And then this is going to be fish. Fish, 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 nothing but fish. Make us some fish. I think that is actually our coal off the coastline there. This map is not good for coal, so if we're going to do anything coal-related, we're going to have to burn the forests to gather the charcoal. .8 days before we get our harvest. And I think we're going to get, like, enough yield, probably to have, like, 2 people work at a ration maker. So not a lot of, rations being produced. Although they will keep a lot longer than the fish will. Let's get a... Unless I need a specific thing for the ration maker. Let's set one up. It's not going to be super productive, because we're only going to have like 2 workers working on it. We're going to overbuild it again. Because in the future, we're going to want a lot of rations. Especially made out of fish. Just, we need to expand the production of our herbs by quite a lot before we're going to be able to produce it quickly enough. Let's turn the game speed down so we're not blowing through all the time. Put another workbench in the middle. Maybe. And we gotta shove enough auxiliaries in there to make that work. There we go. Okay, that wasn't too bad. No, it's one storage building unit per thing. There we go. So that's the ration maker. It'll have 28 people work there if we let everyone work there, which is... No way do we have the herbs for that. That might be something in the future that we actually want to import rather than farm locally, is herbs. This is not the climate for it. Okay, all the stuff's delivered. Quickly assemble the interior to the building. There's 61% of it. Now they're assembling the machinery. we want to pause it because we don't want it working that many guys. Also, we don't want it doing bread. So fish plus herbs. I think we can support 2 workers right now off the existing herb field. Yeah. Yeah. We got an unused crate here. I'll set one of the crates here to be rations. So we got some local ration stores, so they don't have to go across to the old OG storehouse. Nothing to fetch in the vicinity. Well, that's good to know about. Okay, we've got plenty of fish for the moment, so we should not be expanding fish production. There is maybe an argument, the next thing to do is clay. That would definitely be one way to improve the lavatories. So that's clay. And the laboratory, that's also clay. Well, I said the lavatories are clay. Lavatories are technically pottery, which you make out of clay. The other thing to do is maybe get the ore going. In fact, I think the ore is probably what we should do. Get the ore going. Ore and charcoal. So let's get a housing district actually in the main area. So we'll do another area copy. Like so. Grab one of these big districts. Big housing blocks. I happen to like having the food stall on the end. That gives it a nice look, I feel. Might not be super strong, or any way meta, but I just like how it looks. Okay, I'm gonna overbuild. I'm gonna build 2. Because I know this is gonna be taking up a lot of work, right? So we're gonna be mining the ore, then we're gonna have to make the charcoal, and then we're gonna have to melt the ore into metal. That's all labor, 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 labor. I think we got the food for it right now, so we're not too concerned about food. Oh, and I got 20 more housing worth of space in the existing housing. So to get this build a bit faster, we'll go ahead and allow it to recruit up to the current housing. So we got another 20 workers to do construction here. Okay, first side. Oh, this is half done. It looks done, but it's because they've done the outbuilding. They haven't done the interiors yet. Okay, it's almost done. Let's start... we'll turn the speed down, let it play while we do this designation, but we'll go ahead and start setting up the ore mine. So this is what this is. We've got a little bit of ore here. Probably go all the way up to the road there, and we'll use that extra space for our storage and auxiliaries. So we need 2 tiles. I'll put 2 tiles there. There we go. So that'll allow 19 workers to work here. So it's not a very big ore mine. So we may have ore problems in the future. But that will provide us a base load of metal. We do have a little bit, another small deposit over there under the water. That would be a bit of a pain to mine, but we could do that if we were desperate. But yeah, so we're going to get a little bit of influx of metal, but otherwise we're going to probably have to be pretty conservative with the metal. Although, if we go look at improving the mining, right? That is mine workers overall, meaning we do have a decent amount of clay, so we could use the clay to buff the metal yield, I suppose. At least initially, right? We can do basic mining into high mining. So that's innovation into knowledge, and both of those buff ore mining, even when we're using clay miners as the source for the employees. For the minimum. So, for example, upgrading the woodcutter would require more metal. So I think what we'll do is we'll designate actually a fairly large woodcutter here, coming up in a bit, to run the... Actually, suppose we're doing a charcoaler, I can build the charcoaler first. Whoops. Do I want everyone on the mine? We have enough people that apparently is not a problem. Yeah, that's not a problem. We'll let all 19 people work on the mine. I can let some more people in to do the charcoaler. So the charcoaler takes in wood and it outputs coal. Of course, I just realized something that requires clay. So before I set the charcoaler up, I should probably go start the clay mine. Oh, we're going to need a warehouse. I need to set up a warehouse. So I was going to do it over here for all the new industrial goods we're making. Because it's a bit far over to that warehouse. With this clay and the wood over here, so... Bit of a tight warehouse space, but I think it will work. It's not going to be the best of warehouses. And then, yeah, we're going to have to build... I'm going to do what I'm going to do down here at the clay. This is going to be a massive clay mine. I may actually want to do some fishing down here as well, just to supply food to the local community. Okay. Oh, it's nice enough to even copy the roads. Nice. Okay. Far side or near side? Do that orientation. I think that orientation will work well. And then we'll need, well, probably benefit from a road going from A to B. This will be the... So, what I basically copied there is a janitor to do maintenance in the local area, a warehouse that we have pre-designated to hold the minimum stuff the janitor wants, a guard post to maintain law and order in location, a hearth, a well, because those are amenities that don't have a worker upkeep, and housing for 60 people. We're probably going to, because there's going to be a big clay mine, we probably want more than 60 people there, and we're probably going to do some fishing over here. That'll probably be, actually, the first industry we set up here will probably be fishing. Just so we have some local fishing, but probably do fishing into clay, into coming back over here to set up the charcoaler and wood cutting and metal making. Or is something that doesn't go off very fast. Slaver has arrived. I could take slaves, but we don't actually have the right amenities for it, and it's money that I don't want to spend, so no. Sorry, Slaver, we're not buying your slaves. Not even to free them. Okay. So here, we're going to designate it that it can have 5 things of ore, 5 things of coal, 5 things of wood, 5 things of metal. And it's basically we're turning wood into coal, coal and ore into metal. And then we might turn metal into other stuff, but that's getting a little ahead of ourselves. And we still got 10 crates here in case I decide we need more stuff here. And I think the interior here probably wants to get all roaded over. So we can also designate this as a giant road area. It's gonna take a while to build this up. It's far away from most of the people where most of the people live at the moment, so it's a little bit of a trek down here. To accelerate construction, let's go ahead and let another 40 people in. We have been making rations. We're up to 57 rations. And as you can see, the rations decay fairly slowly, and because it's not the preferred food type of our people, the people are generally not eating it, which is good to see. I think I've even, yeah, what I've done on all the food stalls is just tell them, don't go get rations. Rations are to be stored, not fed to the people. Same sort of thing on the marketplace. The marketplace doesn't take food. Or well, it takes some food. It takes things that people want. Usually in their houses, right? So, or clothing, right? So, this shows up because they use it both as furniture and as clothing. Livestock is showing up because they want it as furniture. Although our people don't want it as furniture. So that's where all my livestock went. That would explain where all the livestock is gone. Because, yeah, our people don't care about it as furniture. Apparently, the Tilapis, the elves, like having livestock as furniture. So we can probably tell the market don't stock the livestock. So they'll go put it back. Clothing, our people equip it, so that's fine. Furniture. Furniture, but not for our guys. 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 And we can do the same with clay. That way they can prioritize stock in the market with mainly things that our people want. Most important here is the clothing. They do get a service. When they come to pick up things for their house or for themselves, they fulfill the marketplace service need. So by having this here, we make our people happier. I just don't need them loading things into the marketplace that they don't actually need in the marketplace. Oh, and our district down here is done. Let's go ahead and queue up the construction for the clay mine. We're definitely going to promptly turn it real down, because this is going to be a big mine. Okay. And then we're going to want some storage here. This is a big one, so I'm a little bit tempted to go real big storage. Although I probably don't need such a big storage. You know, we'll do big storage anyway. Got the furniture, that's not going to be a problem. Then we're going to want big auxiliaries. I'm not even sure I'm making enough auxiliaries at this point. This is a big mine. Let's just say it is a big mine. Yeah, I'm gonna have to make the catchment area bigger so I can show more auxiliaries in it. Oops, accidentally deleted storage doing that. It's still not big enough. Okay, gotta make it bigger. There we go. So the mine can make 544.5 clay using 363 workers. So it is a big mine. It is a big mine. This is going to take a while to build because it's going to require 520 furniture. Yeah. Did I max out the existing furniture production? This is a sort of construction where we might be wanting to. Yeah, we have maxed it out. So yeah, it's going to take 50 game days to build this. Yeah, that's a big mine. It's going to produce all the clay we need. Yeah, we've got all the stone for it. It's just going to be gathering all the furniture. In fact, I think that's going to take so much furniture. I think it'll be worth grabbing or making another carpenter. So we can do left shift view. Where do I want to put it then is the question. Let's see back here. Yeah, didn't take them very long to clear the site. It's taking them a little bit longer, obviously, to haul the stone to it. I think I might build a dedicated food clay warehouse next to it. Because it's going to have enough workers that we're going to want a decent amount of food in the local area for feeding the locals. Do we go for the narrow one? Could go real narrow. Could just go that narrow. I'm leaving that proves the stockpiling fish still go that wide. A line of crates down both walls. A door at each end. Gotta click confirm first before I right-click to put the builder away. And then yeah, I think we're going to designate some fishing over here so we get some local fish to feed the workers that will work at this site. We now employ over 50 in our carpenters. As a result, the combined experience is boosting performance. The boost will continue to increase up to 1,000 employees. Well, good, because we need more furniture. So we just doubled the amount of furniture. In theory, also increased the amount of spears and shields we make. Although we technically export the surplus of those, so... Okay, so settings here, we got 32 crates. This is mostly for clay, so we're going to go ahead and at least give it 5 crates of clay. We're also going to be storing fish here, because we're going to have a bunch of fisheries nearby to supply fish. Actually, I'm going to go up to 10 here, because we know we're going to be making clay here based on the size of that mine. I might not do more than 5 on the fish. We'll leave most of the location empty. And then we'll give it 1 delivery man. And I think we can start designing a fishery over here. Aquaculture fishery. How far up the beach can I go? Easily that far. Needs to be contiguous, so those... Oops. It needs to be contiguous, so the bit along... Out too deep can't be attached. So I leave those bits off. How far up can I go? It's to be about that far. So, pretty far. Okay. So that's going to be the first fishery over here. Has enough fishing space for 19 fishermen, so it should provide a decent amount of food. So we'll give it a small storage. And plop in enough auxiliaries. Trying mostly to take advantage of the bits I've already selected for land here. I have to designate a little bit more. It'd be fine if I had to, but there we go. Brings us up to 100%. And we need more wood, so we'll chop the wood locally. Fell some trees. We'll fell trees there. Fell some trees there. That should probably be a good start. Oh, and we worked out that's going to take another 20 workers. So let's actually take the auto up to 50. That'll bring another 20 workers, which will help get that built, and then basically when the fishery is complete, they'll go work in the fishery. Waiting for the swarm of workers to descend upon the fishery. Although it looks like right now they're descending upon the forest. Prioritizing the wood chopping first. At some point we'll have to, well, actually, we maybe might not bother with the gems because they're underneath the water, but if we want gems, our tiny little gem behind us is probably under the water there. Got some more ore under the water there. We got more clay if we need more clay. I think with that big clay mine we'll be good for quite a while. We might be able to get away with another person on the ration maker. Let's do that. Serve a little bit more fish. Make a little bit more ration. And they're mostly done chopping the forest selected, or the selected bits of the forest down. Looks like they've actually cleared the fishery site and just delivering lumber at the moment. %, 26% constructed. Surprised the 46 odd jobbers have not descended upon it yet for mass construction, although that might be what they're doing right now. There we go. Fishing site that works with 19 fishermen, yielding us about 3 fish per fisherman for 57 fish in total, which is probably enough to feed easily 100 of our lizard guys. Although that's still not enough to operate the entire clay pit, so the fishery will have to expand to meet the needs of the expanding labor force. I suppose for the moment I should export the surplus ore. Let's get a, where am I thinking about? Or where is it? It's logistics. Export depot. Yeah, let's place an export depot here. We'll probably delete it and move it someplace else when we get the next industry up, but At the moment, your job is going to be to export the ore that we're making too much of. Oh, I see what's going on. We make enough cotton that we're basically meeting the weaver's demands, but this estimation here is not including the harvest of the wild cotton. That's why we're cotton maxed. Okay. So you're going to export ore with a fairly low priority limit, so you're going to basically not store very much of it. We're just going to ship most of it for the moment. Until we have local consumption, which we don't have until we can get the charcoalery going. We got no use for it. I am very tempted to make more carpenters just to try to make the construction of the ore mine go faster. But at the same time, I don't think we need more carpenters. I think it's just I didn't pre-build enough furniture, so we're just waiting for it to accumulate. Before we go and end this part out, trade with... So we got a trade relationship with these guys. We are not liked enough by this faction for this to be considered. A minion opinion of 6 is required. Okay. So that might be what we're trying to do, is I'm going to be trying to score some opinion. Let's sell off a bunch of clothing to do that. Well, that barely affects their opinion. I was hoping that would be a little bit bigger if we were trying to get an alliance, which is going to be hard to do if that's the change. Base value nearness. What else could I throw at them? I could throw some fabric. Say send them 300 fabric and 200 ore. .02. Okay, it's apparently surprisingly hard to make these guys like you just by throwing stuff at them. Even just throw money at them. Yeah, you can basically give them 80% of the treasury, and that's... We're not gonna bother with that. That's too high of a price for the little bit of opinion. Thinking about trying to get up to an alliance tier. Thinking about the neighbors, the other neighbors, the next neighbors over, or technically not neighbors, requires the faction to be our neighbor. So we've only got one neighbor. We got one person to trade with. We are trading with them. Their net worth is 19 million, so they are surprisingly wealthy, with about 14,000 subjects, which puts us quite a bit smaller than them. Okay. Well, I think we're at a good place to put a part break in. Surprised. Let's unpause it for a moment so we get some music going. I suppose I shouldn't be quite so surprised about how much furniture we need to get the clay pit going. But yeah, we get the clay pit going, we'll have clay. We can use that for various things. Our guys are still surprisingly happy in comparison to current happiness versus expectations. Although our expectations are rising quite rapidly, it will not be long and we will have to do things to make them like us more. Apparently government is in decline. Why is government in decline? Did law go down? Law has been going down. Okay, so more people have been getting away with the crimes. Probably means we need to figure out where the holes in the guard net is to up that. Could work on that. Another thing we could do potentially is lean into food accessibility. Right now we have 31 food days. That's probably more than we need. So we can either go food variety and try to get vegetables and eggs going. And actually, getting eggs going wouldn't be the worst of plans. We could do some glomandir, generate some eggs that way. We've got 10 or so animals sitting around, so that wouldn't be too hard to start, at least. In addition, right, we could just start shoving more food at our people or start shoving more furniture at our people to boost fulfillment. Services, we could get fight pits going. We could also be working, I suppose we could be deploying some benches along the roads, right? But yeah, we might be looking into trying to get fulfillment up more in the next one so we continue growing. If you're watching on YouTube, surprised there is no audio here. Let's see if we can get it going long enough for the audio to go before I bring the part to a close so the Twitch gets something to listen to over the break. If you're watching on YouTube, there will be a part up tomorrow. We are going to record another hour-long part tonight before we bring the recording session to a close. If you're watching on Twitch, feel free to hang around. I'm going to take a short break to get up, stretch the legs, sip some tea, and then we'll be back to record 1 hour-long part again. We're going to troubleshoot what's going on with law and order. It's probably our guard posts don't quite have coverage, or maybe not enough guards. That could also be the case. We shorted the number of guards in some of our major population centers, so we can put a little bit more in there, and that wouldn't be too hard to do. So until the next time, wish you all the best of luck and a good time. Catch you all in the next part, and bye for now.